Welcome to the Sports Phenom Show for another week of your MLS action, where I have three more best bets for you to take advantage of. Thus far on the season, kicking butt, to say the least. Of course, you expected nothing less. With a more than solid 14-8, 64% record, I continue to prove why I am the number one capper in professional sports bettor on the planet. No matter what sport I do, I win. And by following me, I will not only make you money, more importantly, I will save you a ton of money. I'm the only source you're ever going to need, folks. So let's get right to it. And let me get you out on some more big winners for this weekend. First game I'm going to take a look at is a big one between Columbus, the Crew, versus Inter Miami. And you know I absolutely love games like this, especially ones that involve Inter Miami when they're looking up at a team ahead of them in the standings. I gave you out a play a couple weeks ago where Inter Miami was playing at home to Philadelphia, who at that time, the Union, held first place in the Eastern Conference. And what happened? Inter Miami got the job done. They took over first place after that win. And I told you, you give any sort of motivation to the ex-Barcelona crew of Messi, Busquets, Suarez, and Alba, you can be rest assured there's a very high likelihood they're going to find a way to get the job done. Well, now we're in a similar position here. Inter Miami currently sitting fourth in the Eastern Conference, mainly because they played one less games than the teams ahead of them. The Crew currently holding that first place in the Eastern Conference, have won 3 straight, are unbeaten in their last 5, and are looking very solid, especially after picking up Gazdag from Philadelphia a couple weeks ago, who's questionable for this game. And one of the reasons, along with the extra motivation here for Inter Miami, that I will be taking Inter Miami here on this game. Not only the motivation, Gazdag is got a hamstring issue for this game, so if he'll play or not at all is up in the air as mentioned. So this is a pretty simple cap for me. Again, perfect position play where we're getting an extremely high-valued line at plus a half, laying the 150, where we can take an Inter Miami who's going to see Columbus Crew up there in first place. That's going to motivate them. They've also gone winless now in their last 2 regular season games, Inter Miami, that is, drawing at home in a disappointing performance against Toronto FC 1-1, and also questionably not so great performance against Chicago Fire. So you know they're going to be looking to get back in the win column. So I absolutely love this Inter Miami game. I love the line. I love the spot with the questionable Gazdag for Columbus Crew and the motivation that Inter Miami will have in this one. And we know when these two teams have gotten together, it's been a hell of a game. I see no reason why Inter Miami can't at least pull off the draw, which is going to get us in the win column. So officially, my first of 3 plays for this weekend is going to be on Inter Miami plus a half. Next game, CF Montreal at home to Orlando City. Let's talk CF Montreal first here. At home for only their second game of the season after that 7-game road trip to start the year. They had their first home game last week, and they fell to a very hot Charlotte team who sits second in the Eastern Conference, only behind the Columbus Crew to this point of the season. So a valiant effort there by CF Montreal, still looking for that first win on the season. And even though it's been gloom to start the year, there's a lot of things the Montreal Impact fans can be excited about, including several key players that returned to the field last week. We expect them to be back in the lineup here in this game, rested and in better shape. So that should provide Montreal here with some much-needed psychological boost. Against the Orlando team, that's been anything but sharp in the attacking third recently. It's been an up-and-down team to start the year, to say the least, here for Orlando City. It looked like at the start of the year they weren't going to get off to the start that many expected. Then they had a couple nice solid wins at home to DC United 4-1 and on the road in LA. But again, what's the problem there? DC United near the basement of the Eastern Conference, and LA Galaxy hasn't won a game. So who have Orlando City really beat? Nobody. When they did face some tougher competition in Philadelphia a couple weeks ago, they drew 0-0. And when they had the Red Bulls come in to their home stadium last week, they also drew 0-0. So they haven't scored a goal in 2 straight games. So this looks to be a really nice spot for me with CF Montreal. And just like Inter Miami, we're getting a solid plus half selection on this game, and it's very rare to get that for a home team. Montreal is getting that here in this game. They're a big, close to 2-1 underdog to win outright. We're going to take the plus half here. And just like with Inter Miami, we get the draw. We're going to cash the ticket, folks. That's the great thing about soccer, the great thing about this MLS league. We can find tons of value even on teams that haven't won a game. Take CF Montreal. It's my second straight plus a half to get the job done. Draw or win, we will cash. That's your second of 3 MLS best bets for this weekend. Next game, and this is my final selection here for this weekend. This game is going to be between Seattle, the Sounders, at home to Nashville SC. I've been waiting now for a while for Seattle to come back home. They've had an extremely tough schedule with Champions Cup. Then they were on the road here for a little while. But now they're finally back at home, where I expect a big performance from them here in this game. On the road last week, they were able to pull off a win against FC Dallas 1-0. And before that, they were on the road in San Diego, lost that game, and also on the road before that in San Jose. So it's been almost a month since they've been at home. Tough schedule to start the season for them. But now, again, as mentioned, back at home, sitting 11th in the Western Conference. We know that's not where they're going to finish at the end of the season. They're traditionally slower starters, Seattle, and then they work their way up somewhere around the top 5 when all is said and done. I expect that to be the case again here this year. In order to make that happen, they're going to have to start winning these home games. And in this particular game against Nashville SC, who's coming off their first win in a few weeks, squeezing by Real Salt Lake last week, 2-1. Real Salt Lake hasn't been in the best of form, though, losing 3 out of their last 4. So I'm not overly impressed with Nashville to this point in this season. Even though they have won 3 of their last 5, they weren't able to pull off wins at home against FC Cincinnati. So it shows me that they have trouble with teams that are a little bit stronger. And in this case, Seattle is one of those types of teams that plays very well at home on the turf to top it all off, which Nashville also tends to have trouble with in a lot of their turf games. So this is a game here where we're getting a very nice line, laying 130. I expect a big performance back at home now for Seattle. It's a long road trip for Nashville in this one. It's a game time that they're also not used to out on the West Coast, 3 hours difference. So, folks, it's pretty simple here. This is a spot play that I love Seattle on. Lay the 130, and that's going to be my final of 3 MLS best bets for this week. So to repeat, folks, your 3 best bets to add to my already incredible 14-8 record on the season. Let's make it 17-8 with these 3 best bets. Inter Miami plus a half. CF Montreal plus a half. And finally, Seattle, lay the 130. That'll do it for this week, folks. I am the Phenom signing off. Congrats last week. Best of luck again this week. Folks, let's get this money. See ya.